You were waiting for me to hit the go live. Nick was like 3, 2, 1, and I was like, wait, nobody hit the go live button. You were already posed.
I hit it and I just set you up.
Hey, aloha, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Marketing Live Jam session. Talk to me, Goose. What's going on?
I don't know if you guys can tell, but Tom is on vacation, staycation.
Yeah, I am.
He's working though.
Yeah. Hey, will you grab me a Diet Coke there?
Oh
yes, I was up super early this morning. I had took part in this thing called PodMax where they bring a bunch of podcasters on and then they have like a pool of guests. So you go and you do 3 interviews with different podcasters. And so my first interview started, I had to be there at I think it started at 4 a.m. Hawaii time, but I had to be on the call at 3:45 a.m. So I did one interview from 4 to 5. Then I did an interview from 5 to 6. And then there was an hour break. And then they had a Jordan Harbinger on delivering, just taking questions and talking. And then I just did my final interview before this. And guess who my final interview was with? The guy who implements the Profit First Foundation with Mike Michalowicz.
Oh, wow.
He's
I was just going to say, you guys must have had some good things to talk about.
Yeah, I was like, hey, small world. And I took a picture. I took a picture of his screen because I don't know if you guys can see this. This may look familiar.
Can't really see it.
Do you see all the book? He's got this big bookshelf behind him with all these books. Yeah, and I was like,
that's funny.
Correct me up. Yeah,
great minds, huh?
That's right, great minds. So yeah, but I'm really excited to be on the show. I see everybody's here. Aloha, Patty, Gabriel. You didn't say hi to anybody. Let's see, Andre, Bill. What's up, Bill?
It's funny
because
people are tripping out because I'm on the left and you're on the right.
Oh, we get so used to our routines, don't we?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. I'm over here on. We drove very far to a far distant land called Lahaina. Have you ever been there, Nick? Lahaina?
Not very often. It is almost like a different world out there. It's like it's beautiful though. Those of you that have been to Maui, I mean, the drive on the Pali and that coastline, and when it's whale season, you see all the humpbacks going off. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, you want to know though, I was just reminded again yesterday of just the dire straits that businesses are in and why they need our help. Because, when we were over here, I was like, let's go eat at Bubba Gump's. I want to go eat at Bubba Gump's. And so we went down there, and first Front Street, which is this bustling place normally, there was the only people that I saw were 2 homeless people. Yeah. And it was just empty. And when we went in Bubba Gump's, it was we were the only people in the restaurant. And there was none of the, that place is usually packed and it's busy and there's all this buzz when you go inside and their menu, they have a reduced menu because that's what a lot of restaurants are doing. And it was just it was kind of you go there because you think you're remembering what it was like, and then you're there in this new thing, and it was, not as impressive, right? Because you're they don't have all the food I normally like to get. There's nobody else in here. The manager literally walked us in the front door and then waited on us. They didn't even have any wait staff, and there was no bartender. It was just 2 managers running the entire restaurant. I mean, that restaurant used to do $9.5 million a year.
I'm surprised they're open right now. I actually, so I went to go dirt biking yesterday and we got rained out. So that kind of sucked. But on my way to where I was going, I went through the old town where I grew up in, Paia, and normally now you can't even get parking anywhere there, right? It's like one of those places where you have to like park way far away and walk into the town. But when I was growing up, you could park everywhere, and it feels like right now, it feels like back when I was growing up, how the town really was. I mean, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty nice. So it is kind of nice that there's nobody here, but it's also very shitty that there's no business here. And there are 3-4 restaurants in that little town that have shut down, that are like tourist-based restaurants, like Rock and Brews. Those of you that, I know a lot of sharks have been to the Rock and Brews. That's the who owns that? Is it Gene Simmons? Gene Simmons.
Oh, it's not.
It is Gene Simmons.
It is Gene Simmons. Okay.
I heard as soon as I said that in the other room, I hear Gene Simmons.
The kitchen just closed down.
No way.
The kitchen, they're closed for good. They went out of business. They just put a thing on Facebook and said, please come and support us. This is our last weekend in operation. And then we're closing the doors for good. The kitchen, like that's like a Maui staple,
And they could be doing good right now.
Yeah. Well, and that's what makes the situation in Hawaii so bad, is that, we always talk about this on the show in terms of your digital agency. We always talk about diversifying and not, we always talk about Dan Kennedy's thing, the scariest number in business is one. And, but this is a really good illustration of all that. Like, we had so many businesses here that they relied on one source of traffic, and that one source of traffic was tourists. Mm-hmm. And when that one source of traffic got taken away, they were, just not in a good spot. And a lot of them now find themselves having to try to bring, like, they weren't doing anything to even court the locals before, right? So now trying to get the locals to come there is like, the locals are like, what do you mean? Like, all of a sudden now you want us to come? Like it's like that awkward, it's that thing like when the friend calls you that you haven't heard from in in 10 years. And it's like, yeah, can I borrow $200? It's like, it kind of feels like that with some of the businesses, right? Like they didn't care about the locals at all. And now it's like, oh, but we want you to come here and look, it's hard to make that shift when you're, now it's an emergency, and you have to do the same things that you did when it was an emergency, which is build relationships with people and, put together a plan and all that stuff.
But with all that said, we're having this shift, this big economic shift, this big shift in our economy here, especially, and I know other places too. But like, there are a lot of growing pains to that. But being who we are and what we do, we can be a part of the solution for a lot of these businesses. So just because they have to start catering to a different market, speaking differently to, their prospects, their ideal customers, or maybe those customers have to change, right? They have to have these big shifts in their business. So that's where we come in, right? That's where we come in.
Yeah, we're the ones to help them do that. Right.
So it sucks for a lot of these businesses. It really does. But for you guys, it really is. And we were going to put something on our sales page for Digital Profit Machine, but it just didn't sound very good. But really, there is a lot of opportunity in this crisis for you to help people. And I don't want you to get it backwards. I'm not talking about profiteering off people that are really, having some misfortunes and hurting. I'm talking about like really helping and being part of the solution. And there's a lot of opportunity in that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that you said that, because when we use the word opportunity, what we mean is you're bringing value, right? Like there's an opportunity for you to bring value to these businesses out there that need your help, right? And yeah, it's I think it's an exciting time. Like, even though all of this stuff is going on, and you're right, it seems uncertain, like I still am very optimistic and feel very confident that us and businesses and the country as a whole is going to adjust and figure this out, and come out stronger than they were before. It's just like we were talking about what Mike Michalowicz said. That podcast actually airs this coming Tuesday, which I mean, you guys should definitely, even if you've never listened to my podcast, listen to the episode that comes out this Tuesday. It's with author Mike.
How can they go to it? What's the?
You can just go to tomgaddis.com and
okay.
And the episodes are published there or on your favorite podcast player, iTunes, Spotify, all those places. But anyway, in that podcast, he talks about relabeling it, not the recession, but calling it the reinvention. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going through, right? Where businesses are having to reinvent. We're having to reinvent ourselves. And but we can do it, and it's possible, especially if you're, if we're doing it as a group together, where everybody's helping everybody, sharing what's working and things that they're doing and all that stuff.
Yeah. Jacqueline says that one of the biggest opportunities is that businesses who survive this crisis will never rely entirely on just one source of business again. And I think you're absolutely correct. And there was another real quick thing that somebody mentioned that I wanted to pull back up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Patty was asking about my haircut. I got a haircut the other day. It's hot. It's hot. And I wanted to be more like Dorn. Just saying. And Patty, I did get your message yesterday. I'm gonna get back to you. I just didn't have time. I got home late last night, so I'll be reaching out to you. So I apologize for the delay on that. But yeah, sorry. What were you gonna say, Tom?
I was just gonna say, like, one of the women who interviewed me today, she has, like, one of the things she does is help people put podcasts together. And she was talking about how many businesses have reached out to her because, and her exact words were like, we need a way to continue to generate revenue and build our audience. And we hear podcasting as a way to do that. Can you help us put together a podcast? I mean, what businesses normally would be seeking out somebody to put together a pod? I mean, I think that's a direct result of what's going on, right? Because now they've expanded their view of what they need to be doing online. So I thought that was really interesting.
We should do an exercise where we just kind of go through some industries and we talk about like the transitions they can make and how they can shift from what they're doing, some easy branch easy branches to different avenues. So like, for example, one business that we're helping right now, we're working with. So we have they're like kind of a local e-com business. They sell Hawaii tanning oil, all those like cosmetics that are like real Maui kukui nut type magic blend stuff. And so we got them set up with creating a Aloha lavender hand sanitizer. And that thing is crushing it right now. I just looked at the numbers.
I bet.
It's I think we're already at like $10,000 this month in just like basic Google ads. Of course, we're doing SEO and we're doing other things for them as well. I think it's like a $4,000 a month client. But the business was like, it was like going like, normal pace. If you look at the numbers, it was just kind of like flat, not flat lining, but like just maintaining, right? Symmetrical. And then, COVID hit and it went boom. And then we shifted to hand sanitizer and it went boom. And it's like just climbing right now. So wow, that's an example, right? Yeah.
Well, I've heard from several people because, I've got to network with people in the podcasting space now because of starting the podcast. And I've heard from several of the people in that industry that one of the things that they're starting to do is set up podcasts for local businesses. Like that's a service they're actively going after. Like there's a demand in the market for it. And that they think that that's what you're going to see a lot of in the future are even these real local businesses will have local podcasts around the business. Like they're not trying to get a big national audience. They're just trying to be, hey, what an idea. Become an influencer in your local area. I mean, sounds like a pretty smart tactic to me. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, actually, and we're going to talk more about that in a little bit because I have some exciting news for everybody on the call. So, I saw one question, and then let's get into like our normal programming. Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so Dustin said, "Where do I find the secret phone conversations?" So, Dustin, I actually haven't recorded them yet. I have my first call that I'm going to be making today and recording. I think it's today, either today or tomorrow. So we'll keep you posted on that. These are brand new calls, right? This isn't past. This isn't a past call that I recorded and now I'm sharing. It's going to be very relevant to what's going on now. So they're not released yet. And so let's jump over to our regular programming, everybody, because I know we have some shout outs that we want to give out. Let me pull up my screen here. And our first shout out is going to Daniel Willix, which I believe is on the call, right? Daniel got his first client, an upscale hair salon, to build and maintain website plus review management. So, and he also says, thank you, Offline Sharks. And thank you, Daniel, for sharing your experience. I mean, you jumped right in, you got your first client. I think you haven't even been doing that type of prospecting for very long. So congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I saw that post and I was like, I don't know what it is about the first client badge that just makes me even more giddy, you know, like it just makes me even more like when I see the first client one, it's like that's just such a, I mean, I know for me, that was a big milestone, right? Like that first client is like, that's a big milestone. So congratulations, Daniel. Way to go.
Yeah. Huge. So let's see. We got another shout out to Don Schaefer. So he said he chose Website Profit Monster for a couple of reasons. And one was because he has a bit of experience with WordPress. But long story short, he has his first sale of a website and social media work for a local food truck. As the surfing boys in Hawaii would say, I'm stoked. We do say that a lot. We do say that a lot.
That's awesome, Don. You know, Nick and I got to hang out with Don in San Diego. He came and met us for lunch.
No, that's a different Don. Don Schaefer.
Oh, it's a different Don.
Yeah, oh. Don Schaefer. Very similar name.
Oh, this is a different Don. Oh, never mind, Don. But congratulations on the website deal.
Yep.
I thought it was the same Don.
I mean, their names, if I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but their names are like 90% the same. And he changed his profile picture if that's a different Don.
It's just like an S. It's like an S is the difference.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
But yeah, congratulations. I mean, we actually we just sold a Website Profit Monsters. Actually, not a Website Profit Monster site. We ended up using the Roofer Roundup theme, but same principle, right? We use one of the Offline Sharks website themes to quickly build a website for a dog training company. $5,000 website. And awesome. Took a couple days to build. We're on the last, we're doing the revisions now. Yeah, Cameron says Don Schaefer versus Don Schaefus. See, very close.
Oh, yeah, super close. Yeah. All right. Sorry, Don, for getting your names mixed up.
And then we're going to do one more final shout out, and it goes to our boy, Dorn Brenton. Landed another client, new LinkedIn management service, $1,000 setup. He waived it for 5 warm introductions and referrals for $2,000 a month.
Wow.
So that strategy has been working really, really well, even here in our business. When pricing is an issue for them, when you're on the phone, you know, you're talking like website, reputation, SEO, running ads, and you tell them it's, you know, X amount, and, you know, pricing is the issue. You say, hey, well, you know, I'll talk to my boss or I'll talk to whoever and say, you know, if there's any chance you could give us 3 referrals, we might be able to waive the setup fee. And that's pretty good strategy. That way,
Yeah, that's a great strategy.
you're not just lowering your setup fee for no reason, because you never want to do that. And you also could get more business. So congratulations, Dorn.
Yeah, way to go, Dorn.
Yeah, I'm full disclosure. I didn't make that strategy up. I got it from David Sprague. Surprise, surprise. I passed it on to Dorn. We've both been using it. I mean, yeah, of course. Okay, so let's jump over to our popular post of the week, which was made by Gregory Campbell. And, obviously this is a huge post. I'm not going to read it all, but he had a secret strategy for people to get their Google My Business ranked a little quicker, which what he was doing was he was creating a link, like the review link, to his Google My Business page, and then sharing that with people to drive traffic specifically to that page and that click-through rate. So yeah, I didn't try it. I haven't done it, but apparently according to him, it works. And we got a lot of engagement, a lot of interaction on that post. So wanted to bring it out. If you guys wanted to check it out, you can always see it in the group. Just do a little search. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you're in our group and you hit this little search bar, you can search for anything. So if you wanted to search for something from Gregory, you could just type his name there. And by the way, for those of you that are on this call with us right now, you'll want to go to the More button right here at the top of the screen. Can everybody see this? If you hit the More button,
it's a little small, but can you blow it up a little?
Oops. Yeah, let me blow it up.
I mean, there's a lot of gray space. There you go. Keep going. There you go. That's a little better. Yeah.
Let's do this real quick. This is kind of a impromptu thing, but I know we all like to do Cash App money, right? We all like to get a little Cash App money from time to time. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
Nick has yet to send me any money from Cash App, by the way. I've got no Cash App money from Nick.
Yeah, no Cash App money. Can I borrow your credit card, though, to put on the account? Hey, you guys, I'm creating a post right here. And I will be selecting some people at random who do this one thing. All you have to do is go to the group and hit the More button and pin our group. And when you pin our group, you'll want to take a screenshot. And post your screenshot here below this post. And those of you that do that, I will be picking some Cash App winners for how much money do you think we should give away, Tom?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. What do you think? $25
total or per person?
How many are you going to give away? I'd say per person.
Per person. And let's do it over the next 24 hours. We'll be giving away $100. 4 people at random. Okay. So Shashan is here with me on the call with both Tom and I. And even if you pinned it a while ago, you can go there right now and take the screenshot and post it. That's fine. You don't have to go pin it right now. If you've already been pinned, then great. Just let us know. We want to verify that you are a real shark, that you are part of our tribe, and that you are here seeing the actions we are taking to build and grow our business. And perhaps we will be sending you some money for that. Win-win, right?
Yeah. So Cherise, just go take a screenshot that you pinned it. It'll say you've pinned it already. Just post it in there.
Yeah, actually, if you just run your cursor over More after you've pinned it, it might actually just say, it might say unpin, right? The other thing you can do is you can go to your groups section, and it'll show you at the top of your page which groups you have pinned, I believe. No. Yeah, just take a screenshot of it where it says unpin. That way we know that you have it pinned, but don't unpin. Okay, so what?
You said don't unpin.
Yeah, don't unpin. Stay pinned.
I think I'm gonna go get some of those money shooters for when you say Cash App, we can just start shooting off money. I think that'd be great.
The supreme money shooter?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's jump over to some popular questions. We can touch on some of those, try to add as much value as we possibly can. Our first one is, let's see. It's from Steve Rummets. And he said, a couple of days ago, I sent out about 42 cold emails using David's cold email bad review script. I just got 3 replies in the past hour with people saying I'm interested. I'm excited and terrified at the same time. I know that feeling because now I have to make it like I know what I'm talking about when I call them back. Do you recommend getting into the sales pitch on the phone, or should the goal be to get in front of them live on a video call to go over your PowerPoint presentation? It's a congratulations, Steve. First of all, there are
that's awesome.
Do this. Yeah, there are a number of ways you can do this, and obviously, David, in your members area, if you want to just follow exactly what a tried and true method is, I mean, I would follow what David has instructed you to the T in your members area about when you get a customer and what you should do. But you can absolutely call them back. The sales pitch on the call, that's really your choice. I would probably wait until you have some experience, and you get a few sales under your belt. Your best bet might be to get them on the PowerPoint presentation until you can kind of warm them up and show them the value you bring. And I mean, again, that's really all in the training of your members area. So I would really stick to that. And it looks like you've got a lot of really good feedback and engagement here. Dorn said that he would go with a quick call to a strategy session demo, which is kind of exactly what I was talking about there. And Tom, you have any more feedback on that? I think it's pretty straightforward with.
Yeah, no, awesome work. I mean, the only thing that I would just think about, like whenever you're calling any client back, right? Like making sure you're setting yourself up for success. Like outside of whatever you're going to do when you talk to them, right? Like knowing what you're going to say when you talk to them, but making sure that you're not feeling rushed, that you're in an environment that's quiet. Like I always like to call clients back from my office because I feel more official in there, right? Like, have some, maybe like, take 5 minutes and, close your eyes and do some relaxed breathing before you actually pick up the phone and make that call. Like those, I think are little things that we don't really think about doing that can make a difference, right? Like even maybe make some notes about, okay, here's the things I want to make sure to say, or just make sure you're organized. You're in an area conducive to doing business, an area that makes you feel good about doing business. It's funny. Who was I just talking to? I was just talking to somebody. God, who was it that said this? Like they were saying how they used to always make their, like whenever they were going to make their business calls, they went and put on a shirt. Was that Jake? Was it Jake, Bob Ross?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And he would, whenever he was going to call a client, yeah, he'd put on this real like dress shirt and like he would, and then he would go, and he just did that because it made him feel professional. Right. And I think he got it from somebody who said like they worked from their house, but every day they got up and put their suit on, right? They wore a shirt and tie because they would go in and it would make them feel to get their work done. But I thought that was a great idea.
What's funny is that I subscribe to that methodology so much.
I've never seen you in a tie in your life.
Not
when
not
have
a
you
tie.
ever wore a tie?
Please. Please, we live in Hawaii. Nobody has a tie here. But look at me right now. How do I look? I look dressed up,
Yeah.
right? For me.
For Hawaii. And for
me.
Nick and for Hawaii. Yeah.
But the reason is because I have a COO, a chief operating officer for a medical facility coming here to talk about a website and a marketing campaign. Now, am I going to talk to a COO of a medical company wearing shirts and flip-flops even in Hawaii? No, I'm not.
No.
And it wouldn't make me feel very confident if I did, right? So here I am wearing a collared shirt. I mean, again, I'm in Hawaii. I'm not wearing a tie. If I lived in NYC, I might be wearing a tie. But
well, and
so
for you guys, just so you know, like what Nick is wearing right now is business approved in Hawaii. Like you're totally fine any business meeting you show up to in a collared shirt like that.
100%.
Right? Like, yeah, I mean, like, and in fact, if you dressed up any more than that, you would probably look out of place.
Right.
I mean, the only other thing would be an Aloha shirt, right? Like a lot of people wear those, but.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, congratulations. And the other thing that Tom mentioned that I also do very much is, or I do basically every time, is I do kind of map out what I think I'm going to say and what I'd like to charge ahead of time. And I have my numbers written on a Post-it or a piece of paper or an Evernote. And that way, you know, if you get caught off guard in a line of questioning or something that kind of breaks you off topic, and then you come back to, hey, how much is it going to cost? You know your numbers, and it's very specific. And oftentimes that will help you to stick to those numbers too, because if you know, like you've pre-contemplated, you know, this job and you've looked at it and you know that you're going to, you know, need this much money in order to fulfill that work at a quality level, one where you're not going to hate the customer later. Customers will try to talk you down from that, right? They will try to negotiate. But if I mentally have it written down somewhere, like, look, I'm charging 1,000, like that's the number. It's on the Post-it, man. I can't go lower than the Post-it. That's where it is. I'm sorry. It works. It really works. So
that's great.
Yeah. Let's see. So we have another great question here, and I can show you how to do this one. So this is from Tisha, and she was wondering how to save leads in Rep Finder, and I actually have Rep Finder going right now in the background. So this is Rep Finder, and I'm searching for all the doctors in Maui. If you highlight all of your leads and then you hit actions, you can select save leads, and then that's how you save it. So if I were to do that, this little window pops up, and then you would name the file, right? Give it a name, and then you would hit save, and that's it. So you would save it. It would be saved to a spreadsheet, and depending on what you want to do with that list later, if you want to do, you know, what we're doing, which is add it to our prospecting for our AGM sites, or connecting with, you know, reputation clients directly, you have that list and you can do whatever you want with it from there. Let's see. So those are some really good questions. We also do have our member of the week. So our member of the week, for those of you that don't know, is somebody that has been in our group. And now that so many of you are, you know, pinned in the group, hopefully you will take part in our group and potentially be the member of the week next week. But the member of the week is somebody that's, you know, stood out in our group. Maybe they've taken action or just been helping people. And we have so many people in our group that are, you know, so helpful and so awesome. And so it's been really difficult to pick the member of the week lately, right, Tom? I mean,
yes, it has been. Like I mean, and that's great it's great having all those awesome engaged members in there. I mean, I love to see it.
Yeah. I mean, where else can you go to get the type of support that you have in our Offline Sharks Facebook group, right? When it comes to strategy and talking about clients and talking about what to say and how to sell and how to fulfill, I mean, there's no better place. So, you know, we want to congratulate somebody that stands out every week. So our member of the week this week goes to, who do you think it is? I always tell you that.
I don't know. I don't have the show notes open, so I'm going to be just as surprised as everybody else.
This is the trophy, and it goes to Gregory Campbell.
Oh, congratulations, Gregory. That's awesome.
Yeah, let's see if I can pull up great. Actually, Shashan, could we get the member of the week in our show notes? If you're listening, maybe the profile picture.
Yeah, we should have a picture. I noticed that last week. I meant to say something and I forgot.
Yeah, if we could put it here on this
have a
page
picture of them up.
or another graphic, but I'd like to highlight Gregory here, who lives in New Zealand. We've got a lot of sharks from New Zealand, actually. So congratulations, Gregory. Thank you for helping out the group, and we will be reaching out to you so we can send you a Offline Sharks t-shirt.
Awesome. Way to go, Gregory.
So let's see. Yeah, that's basically most of our programming. What are we reading this week, Tom?
So I don't have the actual book with me, but I do have an image of it. So I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Look at the magic of this. That image is being broadcast to you from the iPad Pro. I'm using it as my second screen.
Wow.
Pretty freaking nifty the way they have that. I mean, like, so seamless the way it all sets up. But so this is the book. It's by Dr. Richard Wiseman, and it's called The Luck Factor: Changing Your Luck, Changing Your Life, the 4 Essential Principles. And we actually talked about this as part of our weekly mentor coaching call at the Shark Alliance. We had last Monday, we did a training on, it was mindset around money, but one of the little sections that I had put in there was this thing on, I called it How to Get Lucky. And everybody really seemed to like that part. So I mentioned this book in that training, but what Dr. Wiseman did is he took people that considered themselves lucky, and he took people that labeled themselves as unlucky, and he ran them through a series of experiments to try to see, like, well, first, like, is luck real? Is it not real? Like, if it is real, like, are there things we can do to increase our chances of lucky? Like, are there common things that lucky people have that unlucky people don't? And he was able to identify several things about the difference between people that are, quote, lucky and people that are, quote, unlucky. And you don't really have to, one of the big things I took away is, like, look, the thing with luck is it doesn't really matter if it's actually real or not real. The thing that really matters is whether you believe whether it's real or not real, right? And then if you think that something that is real, are there things you can do to increase your chances of getting lucky? And, he lays out some stuff in the book that I think you guys will really like. There are things you can apply to your life. One of the things he really talks about in the book, which, is this idea of what I think he calls it hustle luck, right? Like luck that happens because you're hustling. And we talk about that a lot, right? Like going out, when you're out, when you're prospecting every day and you're reaching out to a lot of businesses, like, you may just get lucky and run into a big client, or you may, get one of your best client. Like, that's hustle luck, right? Like, you're putting things out there, but you may get lucky along the way. So anyway, it's The Luck Factor by Dr. Richard Wiseman. There's a bunch of other really interesting things in it. Just some of the experiments they put people through, like they had them read they gave them each newspapers, the lucky people and the unlucky people. And they said, count how many photographs are in this edition of this paper. And the lucky people were done in less than a minute, but the unlucky people took 2 minutes or more to count the photos. And the reason was in the newspaper, like after you got to, I think one of the pictures in the front, it actually said there are 43 pictures in this newspaper. So the people that like labeled themselves as lucky, one, they saw that, but then they trusted it was true. And so they stopped counting the pictures and just told the people that there were 43. The people that considered themselves unlucky probably saw that, but they didn't believe it. So they counted the pictures anyway. Right. Like, so that is one of the traits he kind of identified about lucky versus unlucky people. Like, lucky people tend to be more trusting. They tend to be optimistic, all these kinds of things. So it's a very interesting book. It's got some interesting ideas in it. And I think it'll give you some strategies that you can use to make yourself more lucky.
It's so timely. I just read this quote by Thomas Jefferson, who said, I find something like, I find the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. And it's exactly that. And that's,
the harder I work, the luckier I get.
Right.
Yeah.
He said, the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. And it does feel that way. It's more like exactly like you said, you're just, because if you're doing the right type of work, which we talk about here, doing those revenue producing activities, those are the right types of things that you should be doing. I mean, it's really difficult to not start producing revenue at some point, which for me, when you start generating some sort of revenue and leveling up, like, you got to feel like there's some luck involved in that. Obviously, there's a lot of hard work involved in that too, but there's always a little bit of luck, in my opinion. And that's debatable for a lot of people. But yeah, sounds like a great book. Some people have already read it.
Yeah. Well, the reason I got attracted to it, because when I was first, thinking of putting out my first product, you have those thoughts of like, well, like, is this something I can really teach somebody, or did I just get lucky? Like, because that's a thing people say, like, oh yeah, well, you got lucky. Like, well, did I really get lucky? Like, so I kind of wanted to look in and do some investigating into that of like, well, because there's definitely things in my life that have been fortuitous, but when I look at most of them, there was something I did on my part to make those things happen, whether it was going to the event that I didn't really want to go to, or really participating in a lot of different things, or even recognizing the opportunity and moving it forward, right? Like, sometimes opportunity comes at us and we don't even realize it's opportunity. And so we miss it, and it just kind of goes on. But so being able to recognize those opportunities, being able to put yourself out there so that you run into more chances to do things, I think is, I don't know how much of that is, like I said, I don't know that I really believe luck is real, but I know if you do those things, you probably increase your chances of getting lucky.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, yeah, thanks for that book, Tom. Sounds like a great read. I haven't read it yet, but like I said, it looks like, I think Jacqueline already read that book, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So let's do this. I wanted to kind of transition into some things that have been going on in our agency, because I know a lot of you are kind of following along, with what you're doing and what we're doing. And obviously there's been a lot of talk about getting more customers, getting more reputation type customers. And I noticed something the other day when a lot of you saw that post, right? Where I was sitting at the coffee shop and I was having my coffee and I had my iPad and I was doing some work.
Yeah.
My screen. I was doing some work, and it just so happened that there was a little meeting going on next to me of another marketing company and a potential customer for them. And when they started talking about, marketing, I was like, oh, I get to listen. I got really excited. I like put my sunglasses on and I was like, just trying to like pretend that I didn't know what they were talking about. And as it was just like evolving, I was like sipping my coffee, just like, having a ball. So when I got back from that, I came back to the office and I was telling Elle and Ryan about it, and they were like, who was it? And I told them the business, and they were like, oh, that guy's on our AGM site. He's on our site. He's like, we should reach out to him. And so the reason I bring that up is because, it really doesn't matter, everybody on this call, like what services you're selling, right? Like reputation is obviously very relevant. SEO is very relevant. Running ads are very relevant. Helping businesses just transition as a consulting service or fee, very relevant, right? There's a lot of different things you can be doing. But the main piece of that, regardless of what you are selling and what services you're all about, you just need an active stream of businesses to talk to regularly. So for us, because we've been doing that with, our agency Hawaii Thrive site, our We Deliver Maui site, like that business is already on our list. We already have a relationship with that guy. Like I wasn't going to reach out. Part of me wanted to stop the guy after he left. Like the meeting literally ended where the guy was like, okay, man, I'm going to have to think about it. It doesn't sound like we're quite there yet, but I'll think about it and get back to you. And then they left. I wanted to go like stop the guy. Right. And I was like, nah.
Jump in front of his car. Oh, you just hit me, dude. Oh, I know what'll fix this. Buy some marketing services from me.
Oh, you need SEO. So I wasn't going to do anything. And then when I came back here and I found out that he already kind of knows us, apparently, he's heard about us. He's been getting emails from us. I think Ryan even tried to call him the other day after I told him about this, but the way to follow up is easy, right? The path is laid out, like, and that's what we're doing, with our sites and what we're doing. And I think for a lot of people right now, there have been a lot of people, and myself included, that have relied on customers coming into my business by finding me by way of search engine optimization, doing these different types of like inbound marketing strategies. And I think what has the big like aha moment with everything that's happened with the shutdown and stuff for agencies and for us is you need to be doing like outbound prospecting, which a lot of you are doing right now. You have like these tools, you have Rep Finder. A lot of you are already AGM members. So because of our outbound prospecting, I want to show you this image, this incoming. Well, now it's incoming, but it wasn't. This lead that I got just yesterday. Can you guys see this? So this guy, you can see at the top of the screen here that this is from yesterday. Well, I took this screenshot this morning, the 10th. The email came in yesterday. And he says, hey, Nick, not that it's that big of a deal, but an a-hole customer didn't get what he wanted and threatened to write a bad review if I didn't bend to his nonsense. Is there any way to combat this and have his review be pulled because he used it as blackmail? So isn't that just like music to your ears? As like an offline shark, getting that type of response to somebody that maybe didn't know you for that long, but you have this prospecting machine and you have a way to connect products and services on a consistent basis. So I was blown away by that. I mean, I constantly am by, how well what we're doing is working. And so for everybody that is on this call right now, because I know we have a lot of new people, I want to invite you to a training that we're going to have on Agency Growth Machine. So By the way, can you guys put a one in the chat if you're already an Agency Growth Machine member and you're using Agency Growth Machine to prospect and get more customers and land more clients? Where's our people at? I need to know. Let me put a link here. And if you're not, I thought I had a link. One second, let me grab it. Did we set up a time for this call, Tom?
I think it's at 3 p.m. Eastern.
3 p.m. Eastern, you guys. You can go to the link on your screen right now, offlinesharks.com/backstage. That will be next week, Wednesday, I believe. Yes. Next week, Wednesday.
I think it's the 15th.
The 15th at 3 p.m. Eastern. Let me add that to my link real quick. I'm going to be sharing what we're doing to get clients just like this, to get leads just like this. And a lot of you are very familiar with this. A lot of you are already AGM members. I see you in the comments. I appreciate you guys showing up and shouting out. And I know we have a lot of new members in the Offline Sharks community, so we want to show you guys what we're doing because it's really exciting and it's probably the most relevant way to connect a steady stream of prospects in your area with whatever services you're trying to sell. So you might be doing reputation, but this is all about how you can just have a flood of reputation customers to speak to all the time. Because I mean, that's the most difficult place to be is, at home, in front of your computer, in front of your laptop, and you have these awesome services, but nobody to talk to them about. And so this link, offlinesharks.com/backstage, you guys, we're on Facebook right now. So I wanted to just give you a one-click register link. So if you type that in, it'll open up Messenger and register you. And it'll ask you if you want to be reminded, and you can say no, or if you do, yes. And if you don't want any Messenger messages, you can just type stop at any time. It's not a big deal. So sign up for that. And Tom, do you have anything to add about sitting in front of your computer, having great services, but no way to connect? I mean, right now we're in a time where that's, a huge issue.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because one of the things that Jordan Harbinger talked about was this concept that he calls digging the well before you're thirsty. And he talks about how the secret really to networking effectively is to, be in constant contact with people before you're asking them for something, right? You work on building the relationship first before you need anything from them. And really, and Brian Kurtz kind of talks about this too, building relationships without really ever even thinking you're going to ask them for anything. Like that's not really your driving factor, right? But then when the time comes and you're thirsty, you can ask them for something. And I think, what we're doing with AGM and the agency is this same concept. Because what happens to people is something bad happens, like what's going on with the shutdown and the pandemic, right? And now you're in an emergency and you go, I need to get in contact with people because I'm really thirsty right now, right? What do I do? How can I fix this? Well, you can't fix it. Like you still have to start with building the relationship. Like there's no shortcut around it. The problem is like now you're in an emergency and you have to do what you should have been doing 2 weeks ago, 5 months ago. Like these are the things you should have been doing already and you haven't been doing them. And now that you're in an emergency situation, there's no way around them. Like you still have to do those things. And this process and thing that we're going through with AGM is this same thing, right? Like building a list, communicating with them, emailing, building a relationship. Like if you're not doing, like if you saw that, if you thought about this the first time around, but you didn't do anything, like you need to start doing it, because if the day comes and you need to be able to reach out to those business, like you have to have this in place already. Like there's no shortcut. There's no way around it. Right. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, it makes total sense. There really is no way. There's no way around it. Like you really do need to have a steady stream of businesses to connect with your services. And here's another screenshot. I wasn't really going to share this, but just because of what you mentioned. So this is our end of the day check-in from my team here in our office. And, just so you guys know, I shared about this the other day on the AGM coaching call. Like Tom and I are so busy with everything going on in our businesses. We have multiple businesses, but it is vitally important for us to make sure that whatever strategies and training we're doing and we're creating, that we're doing them with you, right? We have the results to show you. Like, we want to be with you on the front lines. It's not about creating products and just putting them out there and making money. Like, we want to have impact, and we want to show people to do how to do what we're doing. And this screenshot you can see from Ryan sent out 38 emails, communicated with 7 business owners interested in getting more customers, and set 2 appointment phone calls for tomorrow. So that's from one end of the day check-in, right? And the reason I bring that up with Ryan is because we're so busy. I've had to bring in some people and show them how to do what we've been doing to be able to show you guys to keep that up. Now, most product creators or gurus or info people that, well, first of all, they don't really have the businesses that they say they do. But if they at one point did, once they started creating products, they quickly stopped doing that. So we never wanted to do that. We never, it's just our line in the sand, right? So we bring people in to help us do our strategy so we can continue to show you that it's working, how it's working, what's not working, how we're evolving. You guys are funny. There's some funny comments coming in.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, real quick.
Important to us, though.
Yeah. Hey, real quick though, I have to jump off of here because I am interviewing someone for my podcast.
Sure.
At 10 a.m. So I'm gonna jump off, but when I'm done with that, I'll give you a call. And I appreciate you guys all being here today.
No worries.
So all right, I'll talk to you later. All right.
It's funny. So you guys, it's important for me and Tom to be able to take you along with us, while we do these things and just kind of lead by example, right? We don't want to give you some information that doesn't work and tell you that it works. We want to give you some information that is working because we know it's working because we're doing it. So when I say that I have somebody help me prospecting and all that, please do not be mistaken where, you need to have somebody helping you do this stuff. I did all of this by myself for a long time, and I built my agency by myself to multiple 6 figures by myself. I see a few people are getting some responses that audio sounds a little weird, but anyway, you guys, that's what our training is going to be about tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Wednesday. offlinesharks.com/backstage. I'm going to show you, what we're doing, what our strategies are, what we're actively doing, how we got the medical client that came in. Let me just change my audio real quick. I don't know what happened there. You guys hear me now? Is that better? Can you guys hear me now? Are we good? Okay, cool. Sorry about that. No way. This is not a knockoff mic. This is the real thing. I don't really know what happened there. Probably some StreamYard issues. But anyway, you guys, I'll wrap this up. We're at top of the hour now. I hope you'll join us for our training next week, Wednesday. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern. You got the link to register on the screen, offlinesharks.com/backstage. This is, I'm going to reiterate what I just said, that, please don't be mistaken when I show you that I have somebody helping me.
It's because both Tom and I have multiple businesses, right? Like we can't do everything anymore. But please don't be mistaken. I used to do all of this stuff by myself for a very long time. And I built my agency by myself to do, multiple six figures per year by myself. So when I say that, you do not need to have somebody in an office with you doing this to be successful, please believe me. And the only reason that I do is because I have to be able to do this to bring you along with me. And it is actually a big, what's the word for it? It's difficult. It's not easy to do. It's not easy to, do what I'm doing, but I do it because I want to be real. I want to keep it real with you all. I want to show you, what we're doing and how it works. And so, the strategy that we're doing now, it's been super strong. Like I said, we got a medical client coming in today. We got 2 days ago, I spoke with a luxury contractor who builds like multi-million-dollar homes here. We got a tattoo company, a dog company. Like we're getting prospects. We got this reputation lead. We're getting these types of customers and prospects on a regular daily basis. And you saw the screenshot a few moments ago about all the phone calls, the emails sent, the appointments booked. I mean, you guys, you can do this very thing, and I want to show you how we're doing it so you can connect whatever service you're selling to a list of businesses pretty easy. I mean, to be realistic, there's no way around it, like Tom mentioned. You need to have a list of prospects and businesses that you can talk to on a regular basis. So that's it. If that sounds interesting to you, if you're sitting in front of your computer right now and you're like, wow, I have services, I have things that I can sell people, but I have no one to sell to, and I don't want to go walk into a business right now. Well, let me show you how we're doing it. Come check us out Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, thank you guys all for joining us and hanging out with us. I'll be looking at your posts for the pin group in the Facebook group, and we'll be sending out some Cash App money. And that's it for today, you guys. Take care.